Hi, my name's Kelly. I'm a CBT therapist and forensic psychologist. Today we're going to think about the Dark Triad, also known as the Dark Tetrad. So what this is, it is a trio of personality traits: Narcissism, Machiavellianism and Psychopathy. And there are shared features across all three. So this notion was actually coined by researchers in 2002, so Delroy, Paul House and Kevin Williams. When we think about the Dark Triad, the people with these traits, they tend to be quite callous or manipulative, maybe willing to do or say certain things to be able to get their own way, to get their needs met. They can sometimes have quite an inflated sense of self, and they can be very powerful or sometimes arguably shameful in their self-promotion. They can sometimes engage in impulsive behaviour, which can include criminal behaviour or dangerous behaviour. But within this, the main thing is that there isn't much consideration about the outcome of their actions or how those actions could actually impact upon other people. And while many researchers consider psychopathy, narcissism, and Machiavellianism as three distinct traits with overlapping characteristics, other researchers actually believe that those commonalities suggest that there is an underlying personality construct that isn't actually fully understood at the moment. So let's break all three of them down and have a think about them separately. So firstly, let's have a look at psychopathy. So when we think about psychopathy, it is because individuals sometimes they lack empathy, or they find it really difficult to be able to interact or understand or engage with other people. And some researchers have labelled it as the darkest of the Dark Triad. And that is because arguably when you look at research, there is kind of more engaging in dangerous behaviour than the other two elements of the triad. But it's important to note, and I've done quite a lot of videos on psychopathy, that it is not a mental health diagnosis. It is something that develops because of experiences that we've been through, and people often have to develop certain traits in order to survive. But please check out my other videos on psychopathy if you want to kind of a deeper dive. And if we wanted to think in diagnostic terms, the one that it's closest to within the DSM is antisocial personality disorder, but it isn't a diagnosis itself. Then if we think about Machiavellianism, so again, this isn't a diagnosis itself. It's seen as a personality trait, not a personality disorder, a trait. And it describes someone who is manipulative or able to deceive or to trick other people to achieve their own goals. And it's based within political philosophy. So there was a 16th century writer, Niccolò Machiavelli, and some evidence suggests of the dark traits that are kind of related to that individual. Machiavellism is actually closely tied to individuals with high intelligence. So some people do refer to it as the high max. And when we're kind of thinking about this, that's because someone engages in highly manipulative behaviour. But there also is that kind of higher level of intelligence that comes with that. Then the third piece of the triad is narcissism. So again here, we're not talking about narcissistic personality disorder. We're thinking about narcissism as a character or a personality trait. And then this is characterised by quite high thoughts of themselves, maybe excessive self-regard and maybe heightened focus on their own wants and needs, which can be seen as arrogant to some people. And sometimes that with narcissism there can be that, as I said, that disregard for others, so then that can lead them to place their own emotions above other people's emotions, and then that can have an impact on the individuals who are maybe around them because their emotional needs aren't getting met. And if we think about with some researchers, they've actually said about that there's a D, or there's a dark factor of personality. So this is more of something that researchers have begun to hypothesize, that there is a single core factor classified as D. And this may underlie many personality traits, including those in the Dark Triad. But it also includes sadism, entitlement, and it's what D actually means is the tendency to maximize one's own desires at the expense of other people. So not really having regard for other people or an understanding of how that could impact upon other people. So hopefully that's kind of given you an insight into the Dark Triad. But on another note, more people are starting to think about the Light Triad. So this is arguably the opposite of the Dark Triad, and it's the eye looking at personality traits of faith, humanity, humanism, kindness. And the theory is often phrased, as you can imagine, as the opposite of the Dark Triad. So it's just interesting to think about these, and as you can see that none of them are any sort of diagnosis. It's just hypotheses to try and understand individuals' personality, which can obviously aim to understand people's behaviours and just to seek to understand that a little bit more. If you've got any questions on this, then please drop that in the comments, and as always, please like and subscribe. Thank you.